Hi there, my name is Machiavelli. I was born 1469 in Florence, Italy. I did a lot of my life. I was a playwright, a poet, and an author. I wrote a lot of famous books, some you might have heard of. The Prince and the Discourses on Livy were my most popular. Some consider me also to be the father of modern political science. And this leads me to the passion throughout my life, politics. I was a diplomat in international courts, and I helped in domestic affairs. And it was really what I wanted to do for my entire life. In my book, The Prince, I laid out what I think a leader should do and how they should act. I said that good rulers must learn to separate their morals from their politics, and that makes them a good leader. I said successful leaders are ones that do whatever is possible to maintain order, whether they must be ruthless, deceitful, or anything, so long as it helps the estate and the country, it is okay. The term Machiavellian has come to refer to a deceitful person, someone who is ambitious and ruthless, and these are all things I condone. But anything a ruler does should have a reason. Anything they have should have a cause. If they go to war, they should have a valid casus belli. I also believe rulers should be creative and innovative in different fields, in diplomatic fields and in military fields. Now, I believe rulers must be foremost concerned with the defense of their territories. I think that the defense of their states or personal glory and honor is one of the most important things they can do. On codes of laws, I believe they should be based on actual human psychology and morals. I'm a classical realist. I'm a bit of a pessimist, and I understand that human nature makes people greedy and people are selfish. I think that this is what causes conflict between people, but also establishes order. I believe a strong ruling body is necessary to maintain order, and I believe in the ideas of absolutism. I influenced other famous politicians such as Thomas Hobbes, and the Prince was used in many, many different courts around the world by famous kings, queens, and emperors to decide what their lives in court would look like. So, who are you?
Nice to meet you, Machiavelli. My name is John Locke. I was born in the 17th century in Somerset, England, and I was a hugely influential English philosopher throughout that century, and especially later on in life, specifically in the creation of the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. Popularly, I'm referred to as being the father of classical liberalism. And the reason for that title primarily stems from my work on a novel called Two Treaties Concerning Government, where I established my theory on the social contract. That is, the contract between governed and governing. Now, my belief was that an individual is born to a state of nature where each person has God-given rights that are not subject to any kind of government, natural rights, and specifically, I believe those rights to be the right to life, liberty, and property. Now, I believe that in a natural state, there is no way of preserving those rights, because although I do not believe that humans are inherently evil, I do believe that they are inherently selfish, and as such, the preservation of these rights in a nature is impossible. Therefore, I believe that the one true solution is to voluntarily associate into a social contract into government. That is, the governed forming a contract with the governing. Now, unlike other theories of social contract, my belief is that the only thing that is given up for a people to enter into a society and to gain the benefits of entering that society is the right to become vigilantes, the right to take the law into their own hands when someone violates someone else's natural rights. However, I also believe that when a government is not maintaining their duty to preserve those natural rights, revolution and vigilantism is not only an appropriate response, it is a necessary response. Is religion important to you?
Religion is very important to me, but in a different kind of way. In my book, The Prince, I outlined what I think a leader should do surrounding religion. I think for a leader, religion can be an important tool. They can use it to help control their populace and their state. I think that having a religion and a state religion helps people to stay under certain moral values and keep them in check. But I also believe that for a leader, the morals that come with religion can really get in the way of being as ruthless as you might have to be to better your country. Is religion important to you?
In my life, I was a religious man, and for some of my theories, religion is very important. For example, in terms of where I believe the natural rights of man come from, the right to life, liberty, and property, I believe that those are rights bestowed by God to Adam and thus to all men. However, as I outlined in 2 treatises concerning government, one of my most famous books, I'm very against absolutism, and my belief is that there is no way to ensure government that is not absolutist without separation of church and state, without a secular government.
Okay. When you were a child, who was a hero to you?
When I was a child, specifically when I was a student at Oxford, my hero was Anthony Ashley Cooper, Lord Ashley, who was a lord in England at the time. And during my time at Oxford, I actually became his caretaker because he had a liver infection. And Lord Ashley was most notable for being a member of the Whig movement in England at the time, which was a movement towards a constitutional monarchy, towards a king or queen ruler under the restraints of a constitution. And it was under his tutelage as his caretaker that I developed many of my political theories. And though I am against absolute governments, such as monarchy, his idea of restraining the power of a government was something that was hugely influential to my views on the social contract between the governed and the governing. And so Lord Ashley's work and the ideas of the Whig movement in England were hugely influential to me, and so he was my hero as a child.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
For me, definitely a hero throughout almost my entire life was Ferdinand the Catholic. He was King of Castile and turned into Emperor of Spain, expanding the territories by integrating the countries of Aragon and Naples through diplomatic means. He was someone who was ruthless and cunning in court and knew how to sway a crowd. He's someone that I think perfectly outlines what I believe is written in The Prince, how a leader should act, how they should further their estate and expand their borders. He was a wonderful leader, but wonderful in the way that he helped his country and really brought Spain onto the main stage of the world in the way of international affairs.
If you were an animal in the wild, what animal would you be?
If I were to be an animal in the wild, I believe I would be a fox. Foxes are known for their cunning, for their trickery, for the fact that they're shrewd. I believe these are the most important qualities a person can be. To survive in this cutthroat world, full of pessimists and selfish and greedy people, one must be shrewd and one must be ruthless when they need to be. Foxes are just like that. They need to lie in wait to hunt their prey. They need to be smart as they go around in their day-to-day lives. I think if I were in the wild, I would be a fox. How about you? What animal do you think you would be?
For me, I see myself as being the relationship between the coyote and the badger, so one of the two. And the reason for this has to do with my idea of the social contract. Now, in the wild, it's actually surprisingly common to see coyotes and badgers hunting together, where the coyote will chase an animal that has been sent out of the burrow by the badger. And even though it's a bit of an unlikely pairing, since coyotes can often be found to prey on the badgers, they actually are far more successful when they work together. And so too, I believe, are people under government. I believe that all people have natural rights, as I mentioned, but in the natural world, in a natural state, there is no way of preserving these rights. And so I believe we voluntarily associate into government in order to maintain those rights. And in that same right, the coyote and the badger, even though they do give up a bit of their own safety by working together, they're able to thrive by forming that partnership. And that applies as well to the partnership between the governed and the governing.